Hello and welcome back for another Torah Tuesday. We're working our way through Exodus, and today we're in chapter 27, examining the bronze altar that's at the entrance to the tabernacle courtyard. I'm going to begin by reading from my translation from the Hebrew. I'm Dr. Carmen Imes, Associate Professor of Old Testament at Biola University. Chapter 27, verse 1. You shall make the altar of acacia wood 5 cubits long and 5 cubits wide. The altar shall be square. 3 cubits shall be its height. You shall make its horns upon the 4 corners. Its horns shall emerge from it. You shall overlay it with bronze. You shall make its pots for its fat turned to ashes, and its shovels and its bowls, its forks and its trays. All its accessories you shall make of bronze. You shall make for it a grate, a work of bronze netting, and you shall make on the netting 4 bronze rings upon its 4 corners. And you shall place it under the ledge of the altar beneath, so that the netting may be halfway up the altar. You shall make poles for the altar, poles of acacia wood, and you shall overlay them with bronze. Its poles shall be inserted into the rings, and the poles shall be upon the 2 sides of the altar when carrying it. Hollow of planks you shall make it, just as you were shown on the mountain, so they shall make it. All right, so here is the Bible Bricks version of the bronze altar. If you've been watching through this entire series, then you've already learned lots of things that will help you interpret what's going on here. Why is the altar bronze? Because it sits in the courtyard outside the tent itself that represents Yahweh's dwelling. And so gold is what you'll find inside the tent, but outside the tent you'll find bronze. So this altar is made out of acacia wood like all the other wooden objects of the tabernacle, but it is coated with bronze because it's further from the presence of God than the Ark of the Covenant, the table, the lampstand, and the incense altar, which are all coated with gold. This is the only piece of furniture that the average Israelite would encounter. When they brought a sacrifice through the entryway into God's sanctuary, they would be able to come into the courtyard and stand around this object, but they wouldn't be able to go any farther. It's the focal point of Israel's worship. And if you're curious about what they would actually offer on the altar, read Leviticus chapters 1 through 7. I actually have a Torah Tuesday series on the book of Leviticus that walks through the different sections of the book and tries to help unpack what they mean. So you can check out that playlist. We're told that the bronze altar is 3 cubits tall. Now, just to remind you, a cubit is the distance from elbow to fingertip, about 18 inches. So that means we're about 4.5 feet tall. It's not clear whether the 4.5 feet represents the distance from the ground to this ledge or the ground to the top of the horns. My suspicion is that it's measuring to the top of the horns. We don't know how thick they were, how long they were, but here's what I'm thinking. The average Israelite male in ancient times was 5'3". So if this distance right here is at 4'6", then the priests are going to be barely able to see over the edge of the altar to attend to the activity inside the altar. So I would suggest that the 4'6" or 3 cubits refers to the corners, and so the sides are lower so that the priests can see inside. Now, it is also possible that there was some kind of ramp, but the Bible does not describe a ramp in the tabernacle. I believe it does with Solomon's temple, but not with the portable tent. So the Bible Bricks tabernacle has a ramp that they have you put up to the edge here. I think it actually doesn't work well if you think about how awkward it would be to stand all the way at the top at this angle. I think it's in the House of David show on Netflix that they have a platform built, so you go up a short ramp onto a platform, so you're standing about halfway up. That makes more sense to me than this particular ramp. The text says that there's a grate halfway up the altar. It does not say whether the grate goes inside, like we have it here, or whether the grate is going halfway up the sides and wrapping around the altar. I tend to think that the way the Bible Bricks team did it is correct, that the grate goes inside, because otherwise where would you put the sacrifices inside of a hollow altar? You'd be putting them straight onto the fire. But some of the things are cooked and then eaten. So it seems to me like having a grate, sort of like a grill, would be important. This one, they've made a solid bottom to it, but it's clear from the text that it's supposed to be hollow. So the grate then would be the only thing inside the altar. It's carried on poles, so it's portable. These poles are probably not really long enough to carry it, but that's okay. It's just Lego. The fact that this is portable is really significant for two reasons. First of all, most altars in the Levant, which is where the land of Canaan is, or in Mesopotamia, were made of stone. Egyptian altars tended to be made of acacia wood overlaid in gold or bronze. So this actually fits the Egyptian context that they've just come out of. More importantly, it's portable, which means they can bring it with them wherever God leads them through the wilderness so that they can continue to fellowship with God. The sacrifices that they offer on the altar are for various reasons. Some of them are ways of repenting and saying, I'm sorry. Some of them are ways of saying thank you to God. And so this is how they're going to maintain their relationship with the God who's called them out of Egypt. And this altar will come with them wherever they go. The horns on the corners may symbolize strength. Horned beasts like a bull were the strongest animals that they possessed. And so horns often were a symbol of strength. Some of the sacrifices required them to daub blood on the corners, on the horns. And so it had a function. It's probably not so that they could tie the animals tie them down using these horns. That doesn't make sense because the entire animal was never put on top. They would slaughter the animal first, and then certain parts went here, certain parts were burned outside the camp, other parts were boiled and eaten. So these horns are not for tying the animal down, but more likely just this appendage symbolizes, it's a place, it's the extremity of the altar where the blood can be placed. The symbolism isn't explained. Apparently it was just obvious to the ancient Israelites. So this is the bronze altar. We've got it here in the entryway to God's sanctuary. Next week, we'll talk about the courtyard, and then we get to the high priestly garments, which is one of my favorites. I hope you have a great week and keep reading Exodus.